So our goal in these first set of notes is to just multiply polynomials. Sorry. So our goal is to multiply polynomials. So what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever's out front and you have to distribute it to everything on the inside. Some people like to call this the seashell method because they take the 2x and they put it in, and when you get more of them, like in this next one, it starts looking like the top of a seashell. And you'll see what happens when we have the more of them. But anyways, so we're taking 2x times x plus 2x times 4 because you're multiplying. Okay, so you have to multiply 2x by everything on the inside. 2 times x is the same thing as 2x squared plus 2 times x times 4. You can rearrange this and you have 2 times 4 times x, which is 8x. So this would be your final answer. Okay, we also want to make sure that we put it in order from the highest degree to the lowest. So the number with the highest exponent, see how this one here has a 2 on it? This exponent's technically just a 1, so you want to put it in that order. For the next one, you're taking x and multiplying by x squared plus x times that original x plus x times 3. Okay, now you're just going to simplify this as best as we can. So x times x squared is x, which is x to the third power, plus x times x is x squared plus 3x, because we like to write the number in front of the variable. And that would be your final answer here. We have one more that are like this, and then we get into multiplying two binomials. So we have 2x squared that we're going to multiply by x, and we're going to multiply it by 4. So 3x squared times x plus 3x squared times 4. 3xxx is going to be 3x to the third power plus 3x squared times 4 is going to become 12x squared. And that should be your final answer, and it is in order from highest degree to lowest. Okay. Next, we're going to do multiplying two binomials. So what this is, some people refer to this as foiling. So you distribute the x to the x and to the negative 3. So that's first outside, and then the 7 goes to the x, and the 7 goes to the negative 3. So first, outside, inside, last. So the first, and so some people like to think of this, it is just the same thing as what we were doing in numbers 1, 2, and 3, where you're going to distribute the x to both terms and distribute the 7 to both terms. It's just that here we only had one thing to distribute. If this was 2 terms here, then yes, we'd have to go back and distribute the second term to everything. So that's the only difference here, is that you have 2 things that you're going to distribute. So that some people like to think about it as FOIL, because you have your first times your first, then your outside numbers get multiplied, then your inside numbers get multiplied, and then your last numbers. So the last in each of those binomials. Binomial just meaning 2 terms times 2 terms. So let's actually go ahead and multiply this now. So when you distribute the x to the x times x plus x times that negative 3 plus the inside was 7 times x plus the last was 7 times negative 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to simplify this. So x times x is x squared minus 3x plus 7x minus 21. Okay, so all I did was I took the x times the x times the negative 3 to get negative 3x, 7 times x to get 7x, 7 times negative 3 to get negative 21. And then there's one more step that you can do with this one, and it's that we have these like terms right here. And negative 3x and 7x are like terms, so we're allowed to add those. And so what we end up getting is x squared plus 4x minus 21. and that would be our final answer there. Okay, so this next one, we're going to be doing the same kind of thing where we're distributing. So your first times your first is x times x, which is x squared. X times negative 1 is minus x. Your inside is plus 2x. And your last is 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. So that's what we get. Notice I skipped the step I wrote out here. You do not have to write out that step. If it helps you, then you're more than welcome to. I don't usually like to write it out. I like to go right to this step. Multiplying x times x, I write x squared. Multiplying x times negative 1, I write negative x. Multiplying 2 times x, I write 2x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then what I can do from there is I can find those like terms again. So negative x and 2x are like terms. I'm going to have x squared plus x minus 2, and that's my final answer. Now this is not factoring, which you'll notice that that's what we're eventually going to get into, but we have to understand where multiplication comes from in order to understand how to factor. So let's try this next one, and then I'll let you guys try one on your own. So for this next one, you're going to have x times x squared. Your outside is x times 7, which is 7x. 2 times x plus 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. Again, find those like terms, which are there in the middle, the x terms, and we get x squared plus 9x plus 14, and that would be your answer. Now, all we're doing is multiplying two things. So it's no different than if I were to say, what is 2 times 6? And I say, oh, the answer is 12. I'm not changing the value. 2 times 6 is 12. You're not changing the value when you're multiplying this. And just like that, technically what we're starting with, this one right here, that's factored form, okay? So 2 times 6 is 2 factors that multiply together, and you get 12. So these are the same, they're the exact same value, just written in two different ways, standard form versus factored form. So we'll get into what those are, but I wanted to show you that when you are writing it like this versus this, these two things have the exact same value. You're not changing the value of it, okay? Unless you obviously multiply wrong, then you change the value. But it's important that we make sure that we're multiplying these correctly, okay? So the next one, we're doing x plus 4 times x minus 4. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is minus 4x. Your inside is plus 4x. And your last turns into minus 16. So I combine the like terms. Well, what is negative 4x and 4x? It's 0x. So do I need to write 0 times x? Because what would 0 times x be? It would just be 0. So I don't have to write it because technically all you'd be writing there is plus 0, which doesn't change anything. So we're just going to write x squared minus 16. Those terms actually canceled out. Now be really careful with a problem like number 8, because you need to actually think about this one as x plus 3 times x plus 3. So many people will want to tell me that that is x squared plus 9 when that's not accurate. Okay, so your first times your first is going to be x squared. Your outsides, so x times 3 is going to be 3x. Your insides, 3 times x, is going to be 3x. And your last is going to be 3 times 3, which is plus 9. Find the like terms, which are there in the middle. X squared, 3x and 3x is going to make 6x plus 9. And that there would be your final answer. I want you to try these last two on your own. So go ahead and pause the video, try these last two, and let's see how they go. Go ahead and check your answers. So for number 9, did you get x squared minus x minus 12? That's what you should have gotten. And for number 10, you should get x squared minus 49.